Welcome to another episode of the Sipping and Tripping podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today's topic is mental health, women in color, and breaking cycles. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today was the youngest person on record to run for mayor in the Bexar County, Texas, at 21 years old. She's the founder of a nonprofit that served over 2,500 teen parents and their children. She launched her own business called Viva Sanchez Marketing LLC, where she now helps other businesses tell their story and build their brand. She has a master's in curriculum and instruction, and she's currently earning a master's in digital marketing. She has worked as a teacher, a campaign manager, a community leader, and a content creator. She now uses all of these experiences to build brands with her heart. Last but not least, she's a proud lupus warrior, a mother of a medically complex son, and a survivor who believes healing is a form of power. She is none other than Miss Marianna Sanchez. How are you doing today, and how was your week so far?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm okay. You know, it could be a little bit better. I was a little down and out a little bit today, but that's life.
Oh, well,
You
I'm
know,
happy that we get to end the day with each other.
absolutely. So, on this platform, I like to conversate, educate, and entertain. So let me ask you this: where were you born, and where did you grow up?
Born and raised San Antonio, Texas. That's where I still am.
Oh, so you never moved out of Texas?
Not yet, but the plan is that we're going to move up to Rhode Island here pretty soon. So
Oh.
eventually, that's part of it. Like, I don't want to live my whole life in one city. As much as I love my city, Fiesta just started today. I got to spread my
Right,
wings, you know?
right. Now, two things. What about visiting? Have you ever visited another state?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Where have you been?
We go on road trips a lot. So we go to Kansas, Kansas City, Kansas State, through Oklahoma. We've gone pretty much all of the South. Yeah, all of the South. I just haven't been up too far. So like I've been to
Okay,
California, but nothing like up. To me, everything up is like Canada. Like
okay.
I'm from the South. Like that's all I know is like it's cold up there. That sounds like Canada to me.
Right. You know, it's so weird when I hear people from like Texas say they from the South. Because when I think about the South, I think about like North Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, things of that nature, Tennessee. So once you start going west, I'm like, oh, that's so weird how they still say they from the South, but it
Well,
is
I
what it
mean
is.
like South, like very South US, like
Oh,
so maybe
yeah.
not like the South like that, but more South like I'm below like the rest of the US, like South Texas even. So we're like pretty far down, so it's like really hot.
Got you, got you. And now other thing I was going to ask. All right, you say you love your city, right? So tell me about Texas, because I'm looking to visit Texas next year.
I mean, I'd visit San Antonio. I love my city, but like my state is complex.
So which the city are you from?
San Antonio,
Oh, San Antonio. Oh, I thought you just said you visit San Antonio. My bad. So okay, where would you recommend me go?
San Antonio, or
Okay,
Houston,
what
or
you
Austin.
said?
I mean,
The
Dallas
typical
is cool
places.
too, but like as far as living in those cities, I feel like any of the big cities you're good at. We just went to visit Dallas not too long ago because for me, getting to Dallas takes like 5.5 hours.
Mm,
So it's a whole day trip to get up to Dallas too. That's what I'm saying.
right,
I'm like down south. Like
right.
that's what I mean.
So so what about like restaurants or attractions or things like that? Where would you recommend me go?
Mi tierra here in San Antonio, it looks like Mexico threw up in the place in the best way. Like it just looks like fiesta, like Mexican party, and then they have mariachis and the music like is loud and it's the best place. But if you come to San Antonio, you gotta let me take you. Like I'll take you on the best like city tour ever. Like
I
the
got you.
Riverwalk is cool. Like a lot of the hole in the walls in the west side are like the best taco places.
Right. Listen, this is the thing. If you still out there, because like I said, I'll probably go. I'm thinking like maybe summer or maybe before then. But yeah, I'll definitely let you take me around. But you say you trying to move to Rhode Island, so it depends
Hopefully,
on if you're
like
still
within
there.
a year. So we'll see. We might pass each other.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'll definitely stay in touch. You know what I'm saying? It's always nice to connect with new people and have new friends. So all
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Um, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have quite a few siblings. My dad has some on his side, and I have a brother on my mom's side.
Okay. So how many in total?
Like seven, I think.
Dang, seven, huh? Jeez.
I mean, like
I
I'm just
couldn't.
guessing here.
Oh, okay, you guess it. Okay,
It's
okay.
like one of those
Um,
situations. Talking about
I
breaking
got.
cycles, am I right?
Yeah. So what do you do for a living?
So I run my own marketing company. I just launched it. So it's called Viva Sanchez. So here in San Antonio, we're very fiesta. Fiesta is just like the Mexican party. So I'm just Viva Sanchez, like let's party and make marketing fun. So that's what I've been doing. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm finding that I mostly help small businesses. So that's the best to me because that's where my heart is. I want to help these small companies like make it in this tough world.
Right now, are you from Mexican descent?
Yes, I'm half Mexican and half Cuban, so I was like bred to be loca.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to say that Spanish through and throughout.
Mhm.
That's nice. You speak
I got
Spanish?
no, not
Oh my
completely. I
goodness.
speak Spanglish. I know, isn't that funny?
I get that a lot though, but I'm just saying that it's something about the Spanish language. It's just like Americans just be like, "Yay!" It's
It's
nice.
hard.
It's sort of like accents too. Like you go to certain states and then the accents, you just like, oh my god, it's something about that accent.
The
Uh,
Spanish accent?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a Spanish accent at all.
No. Oh no
I'm
no.
more like, do you think I have a Texan accent? I've had people say I have a Texan accent and a Spanish, and I'm like, I don't think I have an accent at all. But
Well, it's real subtle. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't say a Texan accent though, because
mhm,
Texans they have like a strong accent, right?
yeah,
Um,
you're like,
I
howdy,
mean, you could
y'all.
yeah, you can hear a little Spanish in there, but not much.
Phew. That way, when I go
Yeah.
up to Rhode Island, people aren't like, what?
But this is the thing. When you being in Rhode Island, after a while, you might start sounding like them because it's crazy. I I was born in New Jersey. I moved to Delaware. Then from Delaware, I moved back to Jersey. From Jersey, I moved to North Carolina for 5 years, and I've been back to Jersey since 2003. And people still ask me if I'm from down south. They say I sound country, and I
Wow.
don't know why I didn't the accent or whatever. I don't know why it hasn't left me. I just don't know. It's wild.
It's become part
Uh,
of you.
yeah, but it is. I mean, this is who I am. So it is what it is. Um, are you married?
I am. Yeah, I have an amazing husband. He pulled his back muscle, so he's in bed right now, but he's watching us.
Okay, that's good. So, how long you been married?
We've been married since 2021. So, like, right
Okay.
in the middle of the mix of COVID and everything, we were like trying to have our wedding. We're like, come on, COVID.
Yeah, because COVID was crazy when it first started. COVID was crazy. I had a kid in COVID in 2020, and it was crazy because I was mad as hell because like they wouldn't even allow me to come into the delivery room, and I had to argue with them. And this one person was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let you go up there, but like try not to leave because if you leave, I can't cover for you. They might tell you no, come back." And I
Mm,
was like, that sucks. So I remember I didn't spend the night, or maybe the first night I spent the night, I don't remember, but I had to go home, check on my dogs and stuff. I remember I left and I tried to come back and they shut it down. So I had to wait a whole nother day. I'm like, this is crazy. I was mad. I was ready to fight.
I bet. 'Cause it's like
But
that's your baby in there.
yeah, and then like the last day they still gave me problems.
Mm.
Like I said, are you immediate family? I'm the father. What are you talking about?
Like, I'm half of that child's DNA, yes.
So it was like, just put this mask on. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just let me upstairs.
Oh my gosh.
Um, do you have any kids?
Yes, so I have one son, he's 13, and then I have a stepdaughter as well. And she's expecting, so I'm actually a grandma too. She's
Oh my
due,
God.
I know, she's due in mid-July, or yeah, mid-July.
How old's your stepdaughter?
Honey, how old is she? 26? 26, I think.
Dang, yeah, that's wild. You look like you like 26, 27 yourself.
I'm 29, so she's my stepdaughter through marriage.
You're 29 and your stepdaughter's 20.
Six.
Dang, that's that's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild.
But we're
They're
like
same age.
besties too. And like we have a really good relationship. So when she needs a mom, I'm there like in a mom capacity, like planning the baby shower and all of that. I'm doing all of that. And then when she needs a friend, a bestie, I'm there for that too. So it's like whatever she needs from me, I'm there. But it's taken a lot of like communication on both of our parts. And she is so like emotionally mature and just an amazing person. So that helped make it like super easy.
Right, right. And that's great, man. Being close to family and things like that is special. A lot of people take family for granted. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you guys have a good bond, good chemistry. That's good.
I
Um,
definitely made sure it was cool with her before we even started dating because I was like, if anything, like I wanted to make sure she was comfortable with the age gap and all of that. And she was. So, like, we got her blessing before. Oh, thank you so much, Allison. You're so precious. Thank you.
wow. See, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, I couldn't imagine asking for a blessing though. Like, I don't know, because
I
I know a
just
lot of people.
I'm an
Go ahead.
anxious person. I want to make sure that they're okay.
Right, right. No, like I said, ain't nothing wrong with it. If me in that situation, I don't think I would do it. It's like a lot of people like my age, or even the younger people, like people younger than me, like they I don't know. They still have that old school thought mentality. Like as far as marriage, oh, gotta ask the dad. I don't believe in that. That's like so obsolete. Ask your dad for the hand of marriage. No way. I couldn't do it. Like it just doesn't feel natural. It's weird. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, okay, it's different. I understood because that's how it was back in the day. But now, especially like I'm 39. So when I hear people in their 20s say that, right? Like I'm 21, 22. Oh, gotta ask my dad. I'm like, nah, this can't be a thing. But to each his own, though.
Yeah.
Um, are you religious?
I'm spiritual. I wouldn't say I'm like super like I belong to a special like sect of religion, if that makes sense.
Right. I got you. And like I said, I keep saying this week after week because I would say my last like 16 episodes, right? I asked that same question, and not one person said they was religious. They all say, "Oh, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual." So I don't know if that's how the world's evolving now. Like everybody want to just say they spiritual. I don't know, but
It's just like I
uh,
don't belong to like a church. Like if I did, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, we're like Baptist or Christian but I just kind of have my relationship and I just do my own thing. And I feel like that's what everyone is kind of headed towards because there's just when you see so much bad coming out of the church, it's like
right,
I don't want to be associated with none of them. I'm gonna be associated with me, myself, and I and the Lord. And like that's how I see it. So
right, right.
so that's how I'm
So
like
what do you do in your spare time?
in my spare time,
Right.
run my business. My husband loves working on cars, so we like going to car shows. He likes low riders. I enjoy going to car shows with him and then doing TikToks. I love that. And then also fun fact, I'm a goat wrangler, like certified goat wrangler. So I do like goat yoga and we do goat birthday parties and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. So I heard of a goat wrangler, but the goat yoga and stuff I never heard of.
Yeah, they do. Like we put baby goats. They're so cute, and you put them on like people while they're doing yoga and stuff. The way it happened is I was just going to the farm so much just to hang out with the goats because that's actually where I found like the thing that I'm sipping on they had the drinks there and I was like, what is this? This is really good. And it's like a coffee shop so they have like a bar, it's a beer and coffee place. And they have
Mm.
like this, and then they have the goats behind it. And so you could just do goat yoga. I tried once to go work on my work there with the goats, but no, they almost broke my computer. That was a very bad idea. But I would go
Right.
there so much and they're like, just be a goat wrangler. And so I did.
Speaking about your drink, tell the viewers what you're sipping on.
Oh, I am sipping on this Powered by Plants Verde. This is THC Delta 9 infused. So it's non-alcoholic, but it has THC Delta 9. So I have lupus, and so Delta THC is really good for inflammation. Like you can hear my arthritis right now. It is rough. So I kind of sip on this instead of alcohol because alcohol sometimes makes me inflame. So I just depending. But I actually haven't added any to it, so I'll add some right now. But you'll see it's like see the color, it's like a whitish.
Right.
It's called an elixir, but it's really good. I like it.
Gotcha.
The main ingredient is filtered water and then natural flavors and then the THC. So it has like it's pretty safe.
Right. I gotta see if they got something similar out here. It probably don't, but we'll see.
I'll look for it. If not, maybe. Well, I know like state lines are so it just depends, right? Especially out of Texas.
Yeah, and especially with the guy that we got in presidency right now, and the guy in office, he's something else. He's
difficult.
Absolutely. I don't know how the world voted for this guy, but it's another story. It's insane.
Yeah, when I see the news, I'm just like, what's happening? And I just like log out because I'm like, my anxiety can't.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like just nothing. I like. Oh man, like when he had this little TV show, everybody was like, "Oh, Trump," because the TV show was entertaining. But once we separate that, and now you talk about running for office and the first term, like it's like you didn't learn from the first time. Like a lot of people put him on a pedestal, say he did this, he did that. He did absolutely nothing.
It's been, yeah. And right now it's just been like a lot of anxiety with all the changes going on. I don't even keep track of it anymore because I'm just like, it's so like everything just seems like it's changing so quickly. And like to balance that with like our own lives just seems impossible. Like how do people do that? Like handle the stress of all of that,
Right. Yeah, it's like I said, it's chaotic. It's chaotic, and then the whole deportation thing is stupid. It's supposed to have guidelines and rules and regulations, but somehow they go against that. Like, because
they deported a guy by accident. They're like, nah, actually keep him. Like what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so they had a guy that his visa wasn't expired. He still had like a month left. He was in the middle of like an interview with at one of those ICE departments or whatever you call it, detention centers or whatever, not a detention center, but whatever they call it, a reporting office. And they came in there and just took him. His visa is still like that's crazy. So when I see stuff like that come on Google or I see it on news, it just infuriates me, man. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, so I've been a kitchen manager for the last 7 years. So we had like emails that give you a breakdown of what to do if ICE come. They can only ask you about people that they have specific names for. They don't have specific names. They can't question them. They can't approach them. None of that. And this is the thing. They was doing it anyways. They was just coming and snatching people out of employment and just taking them. I was like, it's crazy. So at one point, I remember for like a week, it was rough for me because none of my employees was coming in. And my boss was like, I'm like, what are we going to do? We're going to close down? He's like, nah, I guess you're going to have to bust your ass and do the best you can. I'm like, yeah, nah, it ain't nah. I can't do the work of like 6 people. That was definitely rough, man. But then they started to come back to work, and they felt a little bit more comfortable. But I ain't like none of it. None of it. I have friends that's, what I'm saying, that wasn't legal. So they asked me if I could help. I'm trying to Google things, trying to see if I can help. And it's like,
because they don't want it on their phone and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's scary. Like when they talked about like the mass deportations, like here in San Antonio, I posted on my Facebook. I was like, look, I don't know who isn't. I'm not gonna ask no questions, but all I know is like I used to be an art teacher. If you need a moment to just like take time for yourself and you need me to do an art project with the kids, let me know. And like the kids can come over to my house, whatever. They can take time and Google, do what they have to do, you know, and I'm not asking no questions, but thank goodness that they didn't do those like mass deportations. And it was like when it was at the beginning of the school year when they were talking about going into the schools.
Right. Yeah,
And I
and
had posted a video on TikTok and I got like doxxed for it. And I was like, whoa. And that's what got scary was it was something about like a skit as if I were still a teacher and saying like I would
right,
protect my kids. And that was like the theme of the video, but it was just like a dance to a song, you know,
right.
just what TikToks are. And people were like, oh, I'm reporting you to ICE. I was like, go for it. Like I'm legal.
Yeah,
Why do you think I've like run for office and stuff? Like you can't do that if you're not legal, dummies. Like
yeah, yeah. And that's crazy. People think like that. You know what I'm saying? And in my town, I had a lot. Oh, it's a lot of Trumpers, and they be quiet this whole time. And Trump won, and they just full fledged was like put their racism out there, the prejudice, and just talk about this person, that person. I'm like, this is crazy. Talk about blacks, talk about Hispanics. I'm like, oh, I can't stand people like you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had this woman wanting to fight me one day. And then because I was talking shit about Trump, but I didn't know she was a Trumper until she wanted to fight me. So then I'm sitting here like, oh man, lady, listen, I don't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? As a black
Yeah.
man too, like I don't want no problems. I was at a store, so I just had to walk away, and then people was like, oh, you let her talk to you like that? I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to jail, so yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Like
what it is.
that's
All right,
scary.
so let's get to this first segment, right? The first segment we're gonna talk about mental health, anxiety, and traumas.
All right.
All right. So, see, the first question I wanted to ask you is medication the primary solution for mental health issues, or does therapy offer more lasting benefits?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I think it should be like a mix of both, right? Because I've
Mm,
had issues where it's definitely like a chemical imbalance, like that I'm feeling going on, right? And
all
then
right.
the the other part is like I am doing therapy at the same time too, you know. So I'm doing both. But yeah, it's a great question to think about because I do think some doctors are like quick to like put you on meds
Right.
and
Right.
just like but if you're proactive and you trust your doctor, you do your research. Like I'm always doing my research too. Like a doctor's not going to even say a medication to me without me having had already done the research. Like, and I already asked ChatGPT. I already like Googled. I already, you know, like okay, so I
Right.
have a good idea when I'm going in what I might need or what I might not. And like I'm on antidepressants too, and I appreciate them for what they are. But whenever I need to go down on them, I can tell like when I need to go down, and I can also tell when I need to go up. And um,
Mm,
but I'm not like someone against meds or against not taking meds either. I think it's kind of like it's up to you and your doctor. You know, it's such a personal thing. Like,
right. So I'm on the fence with the whole meds thing. Like number one, like you said, right? You hit the nail on the head when you said their doctors are so quick to prescribe kids or people in general with medication, and I truly believe that. And I don't think that's necessary. I think the first thing you should do is try to get them some kind of counseling or some kind of therapy, and then work from there, right? You
yeah,
sometimes you got to work backwards. Don't go the easy route and automatically say, oh yeah, let's put them on meds, because the way I was raised in my household, in my family, is don't put your kids on meds. Right, my family was against it. My parents was against it. So I had a son that they was like, my oldest son, they was like, he need meds, and I was so against it. But this is the thing, at home, it was a lot of rough points, right, a lot of difficulties, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me just see what happens, right? Just put them on meds. My family was like furious, they was mad, right? But I started to see a dramatic change for the better. So now I
hmm
was like, okay, so it's not that bad. Now it was the one medication I wouldn't let them take because it was called clonidine. I just stopped them on the clonidine, but I told the doctor I was still giving it to him because the doctor was like, he has to take it.
Mm.
He used to fall asleep standing up. I mean, like on the wall, standing up. I mean, drool hanging out to his chin, and it's like his focus wasn't there. So I was like, yeah, he ain't taking that.
Yeah.
But like Falkland, I had him on that. He was on Risperdal, and he was able to grasp concepts better. He was able to focus in school. His academics improved. So it's like at that point, how can I go against it?
Yeah.
But like I said, it, in the beginning it was rough. I did because I didn't want to put him on it. And he's still supposed to be on it now. And this is the crazy thing. He hasn't been on it for a while because the insurance lapsed, and then they said I had to wait to January of this year, which I still haven't put him on. Got new insurance yet, which I got to do. But now I'm like I don't know. I kind of feel like he grew out of it. Like he don't need it, but he do have moments where I'm like, maybe the Mets would help, right? But
Yeah.
I also gotta take in consideration that he's still a growing kid as well. So some of that is just growing pains, right? Like he don't. I don't want to say he have behavior issues. He just like him and his brother, the one that's 5 years old, they don't get along. They love each other to death. They just don't get along. So I got that, and it's like he's a little handsy sometimes. He might pinch his brother. He might bite his brother. And I'm like, at a 10-year-old shouldn't be doing that. And I understand he might be frustrated, but you still can't do that to your siblings, right? And just other things. He's such a follower, but I don't think that's a medication issue. I think that's a peer pressure type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially now, because there's so many kids in my township that they sent a lot of the kids to the middle school because the middle school had extra room. So he goes there. So now he's getting the influence from the older kids. So I don't think it's a medication thing. Like I totally forgot. So yesterday he's supposed to see his little therapist, and I forgot. So he didn't go.
Oh,
I'm surprised they didn't call me. But back to what I was saying, though, I think medication should not be the primary solution for mental health issues, right? I think the primary thing should be counseling or to see a therapist or something like that, and then you work from there. Like if that's not helping, then you can have a conversation about medication, right? But
mhm.
like you said, they just throw medication out there so freely, and it's like I don't think that's fair. And there's other things I'll touch on a little later about the whole medication aspect. Um, so okay. Can long-term use of antidepressants or other psychotic medications have negative consequences?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, so I've had bad side effects from medications in the past, from maybe not like antidepressants. Well,
Mm.
I mean, everyone has bad side effects from antidepressants if you think about it, because it does dull like different things. Like everyone, the running joke is like anyone who has like any sort of drive, for like a sex
Hmm.
drive, like it just tanks, when you're on antidepressants. So I mean, that's kind of a bad side effect
Why
that
is that?
Hmm?
Why is that?
I don't know, something about the drug, I don't know, the way the medication works. But
Mm.
like Lexapro is known for that. I always see TikToks about it. They're funny TikToks, but it's true. Like that's a common side effect. Another common side effect could be like weight gain. And other side effects that people have is worsening depression or like suicidal ideation too. And
Oh,
yeah,
wait, but isn't that supposed to prevent that though?
yes, it's supposed to, but in some cases it can make it worse. And some
Interesting.
medications, it just depends. So, like for me, I'm on Adderall for ADHD, and I got diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. So I didn't start Adderall until I was like 25. So maybe it's been 4 years that I've been on it because I'm 29. And I would take it every day, like just as prescribed. And I was starting to get anxious, and my doctor was like, okay, pull back on the Adderall. Well, the withdrawals of that plus like another medication for my lupus, which that's a whole nother ball game. Like lupus medications, they're known for causing like really bad depression and suicidal ideation. And
Mm.
I had that reaction. And like, I can't believe I'm saying it on like a podcast and everything, but it happened, and it felt like such a chemical imbalance in my brain. And it was so bad that like the doctors and stuff, like, they know they have to like note it. And I've had these reactions before to lupus medications, the same type of medications. And so there's this protocol that they have to report it to the pharmaceutical company, and then they have to put you on preventive therapy, like medications to like prevent worsening depression. But even that stuff can cause worse things. So it's like, you never know. And it's really scary to dibble and dabble.
Right.
Something that might
So,
be like to help you ends up harming you.
right. Now, Adderall is for the ADHD.
Hmm.
So that's similar. Let's see. So that's similar to which one is it? So one
Like
of those.
Vyvanse.
Because I'm trying to figure out which one my son takes for the ADHD. I don't know if it's the Risperdal that's for that or the Focalin.
I don't know all the different ones. There's
Yeah.
Ritalin.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the one. Yeah. So Focalin is, it's like the generic form of the Ritalin.
Oh,
So
okay.
so yeah. So yeah. So that's interesting. Um. Wow. So like I said, I didn't know that that even though it's supposed to treat it, it can have an adverse effect where it makes it worse. That's
Well, when you stop it.
when you stop it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, if you
Uh,
don't take it like as prescribed, like when your body pulls back from it, it can pull into like a crash, like a depression, like a crash. Just like because it's a amphetamine. So think about what's the drug that's amphetamine? Meth, right? Like so meth
right,
crashes, like what that does to people. It's like the same thing.
right. Yeah, I mean that's not to go down that rabbit hole, but I never understood how or why people choose to be addicted to such things. Like I never, especially when they grow up and they see other people and the effects they have on them. And,
Yeah.
right, and it could be a loved one where they be like, "Oh my God, like this sucks," and then you experiencing like your own kind of traumas while witnessing it, but then later down the road, you turn to the same thing, and it's wild. It always blew my mind, but it's life, I guess. It just wouldn't be my life.
You said it wouldn't be my life. Yeah, it's something I really don't have a lot of experience in, but my heart goes out to like people who struggle with that. Like, I can't imagine.
Right. Now, earlier you said something about the kids doing art, right? So, are there alternative treatments like mindfulness, art therapy, or music therapy that are effective and should be incorporated more widely?
I love the idea of like art therapy, music therapy, or just having like a safe place. Like when I was an art teacher, my students knew that they could come to me and I wasn't going to be judgy. Like they could just if they just want to draw, they could just draw. If they want to paint, like if I had the paint out, like they could just paint. And I
Right.
think that's such a form of self-expression. And there's a study that came out saying the opposite of anxiety is creativity. So when you're feeling
Mhm.
anxious, just start creating something and the anxiety will have to go away. And so I do think like being creative is a great outlet for a lot of people.
And I heard something similar. I heard people that suffer from anxiety, right? Like I heard they're statistically like some of the more creative people, right? Because they so anxious and their mind's going a million miles a second that like the ideas is always coming and they're just like painting. But what I was saying, like, so as far as the mental health piece, I think stuff like that, like art therapy and just music, I think that will help with mental health. You know what I'm saying? Because it's sometimes we just gotta relax our mind, right? Take a step back, decompress, self-reflect, and just turn everything off, right? And just refocus. And I think doing art helps or listening to music because it allows you to sit back in your little space, in your little bubble, and just zone out,
Yeah.
And art, you get to focus, right? So you get to pull everything together. Instead of your mind being all over the place, all chaotic, it's you draw it to one spot, and that's another thing. I think that should be implemented in schools. People that have mental health issues, they should be able to have creative expression, time to sit there and just zone out, listen to music for like 5 minutes or whatever it's going to take, right?
Yeah.
Because those are the things we need to do instead of saying, "Oh, you know what? Put them on medication. Put them on medication."
Or put them in
It's crazy.
timeout, put them in alternative school, put them in
Yep.
juvie. That's what
Yep.
they're doing to these kids, and it goes into adulthood too. Like what a system. Like it starts
Yep.
with like in elementary school, like mental health, it's not taken seriously enough. And okay, then the kids with mental health problems are getting in trouble. Then they go to juvie,
Right.
and then it starts this cycle. Then I'm
Right.
just like, oh,
And you know, and that's the thing. So like like you said, it starts from a very young age, and it's corrupt. The government's corrupt because all it is $1 billion company. You know how much they make trillions of dollars on these medications,
mm-hmm.
right? Like especially schools. For schools, it's $1 billion company. They actually have like it's almost like they have a quota. Oh, put these amount of people on it, and this how much money we gonna get. I almost feel like they try to look for reasons to give people medications just so they can get that revenue, get that capital gain. It's insane.
The
It's like
schools
big
in New
pharma,
Jersey are like that.
huh?
The schools in New Jersey,
I mean, yeah.
or like in general.
Well, I was talking in general, but like, yeah, I'm in New Jersey, so I just see it all the time. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And I just never understood it. Like they spend 5 minutes with a kid, and they go, "Yep, well, we diagnosed them." I'm like, "Oh, in 5 minutes? What the? It's crazy. You can't even get to know somebody in 5 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Wow.
wild. Like I said, when they diagnosed my son, it was so awkward and like because he wasn't attentive, he wasn't trying to talk, and then like I remember the guy came over because he came to the house and he just looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking." I'm like, "Oh, can we get a second opinion?" And then the second opinion came from somebody that didn't even speak to him or didn't even see him. I was like, "This is insane."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Wow.
So, does social media contribute to increased anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems in young people?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like always feeling like, oh my gosh, you have to post, or whatever I post, I'm gonna get judged, or if this goes south, or gets on the wrong side of TikTok, or the wrong side of Facebook, or whatever, or like
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I see that like I have been struggling with is how much people expect out of me. Like I
Mm.
share what I try to. Like we're friends on Facebook. You see, like I share things here and there, like what I'm going through or what the day is like. But then people maybe they feel very close to me, but they expect a lot from me, and I'm like, whoa. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot. Like just because you feel like you're in my home doesn't mean that you're in my home. Doesn't mean that you
Right.
get to
Right.
make those calls, you know? And so I'm
Right.
trying to figure out where those boundaries are and at what point do I stop or like close that door. But it's
Right.
weird. Like it's hard because that's part of being like a content creator. You're supposed to make connections with people. So I'm doing a good job at that, but maybe too good. I don't know.
Right.
People
So,
the
so I'm glad
audacity.
you said that because I'm glad you said that because just the other day I was talking to somebody, right? Because it's the I don't want to say pressure because to me I don't look at it as pressure, but in general, the pressure that society put on people, like you were just saying about, like I was on Snapchat and like I don't know, I put one thing on there and somebody was like, "Why do you even have Snapchat and you just use it to text people or send somebody a message or you might send like you might post once a week or something like that or twice a week? What is the point?" Like, what the fuck? Why are you worried about what I'm doing on my shit?
Yeah.
Right. So then recently I just started putting random stuff on there. And then the crazy thing is I don't get no feedback. So I'm like, just yesterday I was telling somebody I'm trying to come up with creative things to put on there just to see if I get feedback. And guess what? I've been doing that and still ain't get no feedback. So it's like, where's all these people that was criticizing about my use of social media? And then they don't even comment when I put something on there. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Some people
It's
they're just
stupid.
like everyone's got something to say, and that's a weird thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
It, even with the food truck thing I'm trying to start or the podcast, I'm like, hey, don't forget to follow me. Or can you follow me? And they went, only if you follow me. I'm like,
Yeah,
so
like
what do I get? What do I get out of following you? Like, are you promoting something or you have a business? No. You
yeah,
you follow and you friend request a million people. You look at these people these days, and they have 1.2 thousand people. They might only know 10 of them. I don't know. I just know I never understood that. I'm like
yeah. I
or
don't
like on
understand
Facebook, I
why people are
can't
like
do
that
it.
too.
Mm-mm. It's wild, but that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
Social media, and it puts a lot of pressure on people that suffer from anxiety, and it makes a lot of people depressed. Because also when we talk about social media, it's like the image that they put out there. This is how you're supposed to look. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't meet that criteria, now you going into depressive mode, and now your anxiety is acting up, and then some people they feel suicidal. Like we just had in my town like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. I forget her exact age. She was young. I want to say like 9, 10, something like that. She was young. She killed herself because she posted something on social media. I forgot the whole story. She posted something on social media and got picked on for it.
Wow.
Now, for being fat or something like that, but she wasn't fat. The crazy thing is, I don't typically care, right? But I'm like, after hearing everybody talk about it, a whole bunch of people that didn't even know I was going to her funeral, and it was crazy. Just driving on the road, it was hard because the roads was blocked off because so many people was going there. And I was like, why do people go there? They don't know the family, they don't know the girl, but that's what they was doing. And so I was like, all right, what this girl look like? And I found out she was real skinny, but she killed herself because they were saying she was fat.
Wow.
So social media
The
is
judgment.
crazy
And then people
because
feel so empowered to be mean behind a keyboard. Yep, good or bad. People want to bring people to their level, good or bad. That is so true.
yeah. Um, so see, this goes with what I was just saying. I think does the constant exposure to idolized images on social media lead to negative self-image and mental health issues?
Oh
I
yeah,
think that goes with what I
absolutely.
was just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Like that was such a great example. Or like an example from me is like people they think since I have lupus, they expect me to be sick all the time or like have an image that they believe I should look like. But of course, I'm not going to be posting videos or pictures of me laid up in bed like, oh, I can't even move my legs because I'm so swollen. Of course not. I'm going to be posting the
right.
pictures when I look cute. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I write texts and stuff when I'm not feeling well, but people, they have these images that they think you're supposed to look like. And when you don't meet that, some people, I don't know, they feel empowered to say certain things. But yeah, people are very empowered to be mean behind a keyboard.
I was just about to say that. I think it's about people want power way too much, right? Because it's like we should be spending our time trying to lift each other up, right? And to love on each other, right? Not to bring each other down, not to have that crab in the bucket mentality. And people that's wanting you to post all this dramatic trauma and all this wild stuff. It's those are the people that's preying on your downfall. And I like to tell people like this: those are the type of people they really hate something about themselves,
Hmm.
but they don't want to point the finger at themselves, and they don't want to take accountability. So they look for a victim, or they look for somebody that they can try to bully, right? And that's where this whole social media thing gets out of hand. Because I said this on a previous podcast, like even bullies, right? I truly believe that bullies were either bullied or like mentally or physically or emotionally by their parent or somebody in their life. And I think that bullies really suffered like traumatic experiences. Because why else be a bully? Well, like, what do you get out of that?
Right?
Because
Like,
guess what?
why would you
You,
even do
you could be
that?
a yeah, you could be a bully all you want to, but guess what? You can't beat the world. So it's always going to be a bigger fish in the pond.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what happens when you come and you meet your match? Then you're gonna tuck your tail and want to run? Nah. What if the bully comes to bully the bully? And
Hmm.
then what? So
True.
hey man, a lot of people need counseling. They need therapy. They need the right people in their life. That's what they need,
Hmm.
right? I talked to a couple of people in here that's into the whole energetics and the quantum healing thing. They need that. They need to be in peace. They need to find themselves. They need to love themselves. Because if people can't love themselves, how can we expect them to love somebody else?
Exactly.
So that's that. um, does the pressure to achieve in academic settings contribute to depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why like with my son, I try not to put so much pressure on him academically, especially because we've gone through medical stuff with him, and that was such a big eye opener for us that I was like, you know what? Maybe this test doesn't matter as much as we think it does, And that's
Right.
coming from me and my husband being teachers. But like when my son, my baby is hurting and like we have to take time off for medical reasons, I'm like, why would we not have fun? Why would we not
Mm.
do the same things? Live life. Like, and if that
Mm.
happens during the school year, then that happens during the school year, and that's what it's going to be. Not that he's like missing a whole bunch of school, but like when he has to, he does.
Right. I got you. Um, yeah. So I mean, so you said you and your husband are school teachers. Is that where y'all how y'all met, or
Hmm.
it just coincidence? Okay, and okay, that's interesting. I mean, I think that's a lot of time that's how relationships are formed. Uh, like you work with each other and you spend so much time with each other, or you see each other a lot because y'all work together. And sometimes it's like, yeah, it's just
So,
like
well, the way
me
it
and my
happened
kids'
with
mom.
the way it
Go ahead.
happened with us, I was in college and I was doing my observations. So he was the teacher that I had to observe. So I just observed him for like, I think in total it was like 20 hours. So like 2 hours a week for 10
Mm.
weeks. And then we had added each other on Facebook. He got a girlfriend, whatever. When they broke up, I was like, hey, what's up there?
Ah,
And he said no the first time. He turned me down, but it was such a lame ass excuse. So he said that he had to take his daughter to the town like 45 minutes down to get an exotic bird. And I was like, wow, you couldn't have like made up something better. Like, that is so dumb. Like, come on. No, it
right.
was true. It was totally true, and she actually got a bird. And so I asked him out again, and then after that, that was it.
Mm. Interesting. Like my kid's mom, like this, that's how I wound up. I ended up with her. She was my boss actually. It was Applebee. She was the kitchen manager, and I was just an hourly there. And then
Ooh.
she I don't know. She just had this thing about her where like it just came off as like flirtatious, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I said something, and then she was really like trying to be flirtatious. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see how far this goes. And then like a week later, she was talking about a relationship, but then everybody else that was working there was saying how she had somebody at home, like she was in a relationship. So then
Oh,
I was like, oh okay. So I told her we can kick it, but I'm still gonna be oh yeah, hell no. Look, she gonna put this shit on here.
God.
That's her, by the way.
Oh, that
So, so I was like, okay, I'm still going to do my thing. I'm still going to talk to other people. And it's crazy. I remember one day we was on the phone, and then she told the guy she was with, like, oh yeah, you got like 3 days, you got to go. I found somebody else, and I thought that was the craziest thing. Like, yeah, I was like, I was on the phone. I was like, it was so awkward for me. I'm like, what the fuck? Because like I was like, that's something a guy would do. I don't expect a woman to do it like that. Because you guys have more finesse.
is.
But she was like, I guess for her it was like, oh no, did he just say he gonna still talk to other girls? Like fuck that. Because she was very jealous. I remember she was very very jealous. She used to get mad at servers. Whoever said hi to me, they could bat their eye at me. She was like, it's slow today. You can go home. And I was like, you can't be like that. What the fuck?
Dang.
So yeah. Then we
Are
wound up
y'all,
having 3 kids together.
how long have y'all been together?
Um, 7.5 years.
7.5. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know,
Oh,
three
what a
three
cute love
kids.
story. Another work romance.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of times what happened, it's just
Yeah.
you're around each other all the time. It's like, what do you want from me?
I
So
love.
speaking about the workplace, how does workplace stress and pressure impact mental health being? I mean mental well
Oh,
being.
so workplace stress, it makes such a huge difference. Like, I know when I was super stressed in the workplace, my mental health was like in the bucket. And it really, like, it makes such a huge difference. That's why I wanted to make my own company so I could, handle my own stress, do my own thing, and not have to be under like other people who are stressing me out for no reason. Like, if I'm gonna stress out, it's gonna be for me.
Right,
Like,
right,
I caused it, not because other people are like,
right. I got you. So yeah, like so workplace stress and pressure. I mean, I think one of the main reasons why it impacts your mental health is that, jobs are all about that almighty dollar, right? They don't have no compassion. They really don't care about you, right? And the higher up the food chain you are, like your hierarchy, the more you just don't care. And I can't stand the people that try to put out there like they do care, but their actions and their body language don't reflect that, right? They just want that almighty dollar. Like somebody call out sick, like, oh, I got a doctor, so I'll be sick. And me being a kitchen manager, I know I've seen it, right? I have more compassion for people, but my fellow managers, right? My management team, they sit there and they talk shit like, oh, this motherfucker, fuck him. I'm gonna take hours away from him. I'm gonna take a day from him. I'm like, that's fucked up. Especially if they got a doctor's note. That's fucked up. But that's how it is. They just care about that almighty dollar. Nobody want to put in that extra work, right? Now, granted, I hated doing the extra work, but like if somebody was sick or somebody passed, I was like, it came with the territory. I suck it up. But other managers like, I ain't doing that shit. I guess you're gonna do it. I'm like, what? Why is it always me? So I think it's stuff like that affects your mental health because corporations and businesses, they just care about that money. They don't care about the well-being of nobody else. So they put so much pressure on you, so much pressure. Like with me, I felt bad because a lot of times, like as a kitchen manager, like my team, my staff, they be struggling, they be drowning, and then you have the guests complaining, "Oh, I've been waiting 25 minutes." I'm like, listen, I promise you, we're trying to get it out efficiently in a timely manner. It's just busy right now. People get overwhelmed. I'm the kitchen manager. I apologize. I will go back there and I will assist them, yada yada. And they still be so belligerent. Then I get on the line and I'm feeling it now. And then people talk to me like they forget that I'm a manager. They come out, how long? How long? I'm like, oh, first of all, I'm not an hourly. You're not gonna talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? And then my boss comes at me like, oh, you can't talk to them like that. Think about perception. Just push this food out. Push this food out. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
So I know for my mental health, like you said, in the bucket.
Yeah.
I used to get so mad, and then on my way home, I call somebody, I vent, or I just sit there in silence, no radio, no nothing, just so I can decompress, self reflect, and just get it together. But then wake up, reassess, take a deep breath, go to work, and try to make the best of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so workplace. It adds to your stress, right? Because they don't care. They don't even give you 5 minutes. You might say, I just need a couple minutes. And they be like, no, we need you to do this now. So that's one thing that works. Employment needs to offer. You
Yeah.
know, um, like mental health days. Speak about that. How do you feel about that? Do you think employers should give people time off for mental health days?
Yeah, or like just more time off because the time off that employers are giving people is not enough. Like oh yeah, always try not to bring it home. Absolutely. The time off that they're giving people, like regardless what it's for, isn't enough. And there are like huge mental health factors, and people do need to take a break, and
Mm-hmm.
I think employers, they put a lot of pressure on employees and they have way too much control. Like one time, this was ridiculous. I was a salaried employee. Yeah, this is my husband. It really does take him like 2 hours to decompress and de-stress from work. And sometimes and he's a middle school teacher and he'll come home and just like take a nap.
Wait, so 2 hours once he get home?
Yeah,
Damn,
because
2 hours.
it's so stressful.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot of time. I mean, I need my decompression time, but damn, 2 hours. That's whoo.
and
I'll be
that's
good if I get
really,
like just 30 minutes to myself.
he really needs the 2 hours. Like, because he has high blood pressure and stuff. Like these kids are stressful. But like these employers, yeah. One time when I was a marketing coordinator, our boss, I was salaried. I believe I was, yeah, I was salaried, and we had an hour break, but they still like said, we don't want you to leave the building, and we were like, what? How can you say that we can't leave the building? And I was just like, yeah, yeah. Mm, my husband says yep, and sometimes I'm useless for the rest of the day. I know, and that's okay. We call it teacher tired in the house. We're like, it's a teacher tired day because there's no tired like teacher tired.
I got you. But let's see. So, should mental health education be mandatory in schools to help young people understand and manage their emotions and address mental health issues?
I think so. One of the big things in the schools right now, they are teaching mental health. It's called social emotional learning. So if you see that at your child's school, that's more about teaching them mental health and how to manage their emotions. So they call it SEL, social emotional learning. There's some different terms. I don't know. I know it's like based on the state too, what they use. Like, but down in Texas, we call it SEL or social emotional learning. But there, I think it's really important for students to learn that because
Right.
if not, the teachers are the ones dealing with the emotions blowing up, and then it's getting in the way of like us doing classwork with other students. So yeah, we need these students to be able to manage their emotions because if not, guess who is? The teachers. And
Right.
if the teachers are managing emotions all day, they cannot teach. So the whole
Right.
class gets behind. Like, so it's in everyone's best interest to have the kids
Right.
learn this. And who wouldn't want their kid to like manage their
Right.
emotions well, right?
Because they carry over to like later on down the road as well. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's definitely a positive in that. And I'll look into it, but I don't think Jersey got anything like that right now.
Really?
Because when I've been inquiring about it, like they just like for my son, they just because they be like, oh, maybe he need to see a counselor or something. That's what they've been telling me, and I was like, well, he needs something because he's going through like a period in his life right now. I don't know, if it's a age thing. I don't know, but he's going through something. Like it's weird. Like he be in the best mood, the greatest mood, and then like 5 minutes later, it's almost like what's it called when you when your mood fluctuates? What's that called?
Like a bipolar disorder?
Huh?
Is it like bipolar disorder?
So he don't have bipolar, but that's okay. But that's what it seems like at times because he could be on a high and all of a sudden he just crash and burn. You be like, what just happened? And then his tone, he's like, nothing. I'm like, why you sound like that? And I can never get a straight answer out of him. So they be like, oh, maybe he need counseling or something. Maybe he's going through it mentally. But you
Mm.
ain't got nothing like that in school. And it's like, no. I'm like, "What?" So like I said, I'll look into it because maybe they have some. Maybe they just not aware, or maybe it's because it's the end of the school year. Because school's about to be out. Shit, like maybe like 15 days, like actual
Wow.
school
Yeah.
days. It's wild.
Oh yeah, we have like 20 something. When did that start with him? Did it start when he stopped his Ritalin? Or what?
Um, Falkland. So yes, but then he went like 2 months where there's no issue, and then like it's just here now. It's just every now and then. It's not like it's consistent.
It could
So
be it could be his ADHD because sometimes with my ADHD it's called dysregulation. And so
mm,
maybe if you put him back on it, it might help him. Because
right.
I get dysregulated, and when I get dysregulated, my husband can tell you, he could comment, it is rough to bring me back down, and it's hard, and that's even me as an adult, and I'm trauma-informed care, I'm a teacher, I'm all these things, I have all the tools, and still as an adult, when I'm dysregulated, it's hard for me to come
Mm,
back down.
right, right. Okay. So how can we reduce the stigma surrounding mental health and encourage people to seek help without the fear of being judged?
I think talking about it, like how I just came out and said like my struggles with it, then people they see me on good days and on bad days and they know like, okay, it doesn't look like this one way. Like it's also this person that I know who I like and respect or maybe don't like. I don't give a shit. But it's
Right,
this person that I know and that's what it looks like. It looks different than what
right,
I thought, but I think talking about it and being vulnerable and opening up, it makes a difference.
right. I think also it's about trying to make the whole mental health piece become like the norm, right? Like when we talk about the school, it should be mandatory in schools to help the kids with their mental health and have mental health days. Like the more we implement things like that, right? The more and more we do it, then it's becoming the norm, right? Because that's how the norm happens. Like reoccurring when it's over and over. And once it becomes the norm, well, people look at it like, okay, it's normal, right? And they won't have no reason to pick on nobody else. So then the people that has mental health issues, they don't have to worry about being judged because now we putting it on the forefront. We're making it a normal thing. So
Yeah.
I think it starts at home first, right? And then it also in schools. The education systems need to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of teachers out there, like they just there for a paycheck, right? And I think part of the hiring process for teachers, I think it should be maybe a week long of just like interviewing them or getting to know them before they get the job. I really do think so, because there's too many teachers out here that they don't even know how to do the work, right? Like I've seen teachers that they don't even have a curriculum. They just go day by day. And I'll be like, huh. Like
Like,
how
oh,
they like
really?
if
That's
you don't
how
have
it
a
works.
plan, you plan to fail. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So if you go into school with these kids, you setting them up for failure if you don't even have a plan. Like you don't even have an agenda. You don't even have a curriculum. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, the education system is wild. Talking about it normalizes it, and we are open with everybody realizing we all go through emotional stuff and don't really know how to handle it. Yeah, and the more we talk about it, the more we figure out how to handle it, and at least automatically it requires training or at least a healthy example. Yeah, and like regarding like my husband's comment, like we try and give a healthy example to our son in our house about that, and like I show him whenever I'm not feeling the happiest or if I'm feeling anxious, like we put names to it, and like if I feel like I need to cry, I cry. You know, I don't kind of hide that because it's important to show how we work through it.
Absolutely, I agree, and that's another thing. People are afraid to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
right? And this is the thing. All these characteristics, all these traits, all these emotions that we all go through. I don't care who you are. We all go through them at some point in our life. Just some is more than others, but people run from emotions like it doesn't make them human, right? We wouldn't be human if we didn't exhibit these emotions. And I don't know why people run from it. Like when like men that say, I don't cry.
Yeah.
Bullshit, you cry. When somebody passes away that you care about, you cry.
Mm-hmm.
When you face with adversity and things are not going your way, you cry. So it's like, why are we running away from the truth? And this is where it goes, especially guys don't like. Yeah, that is true. Guys don't like to be vulnerable, and it took me a long time because I used to be one of them guys that like, nah, me vulnerable, no. But now I embrace it. Some guys look at me and say, "You weird." How am I weird? I'm taking accountability. I know who I am, right? And I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to be fake. Sometimes I'm vulnerable, right? Like being vulnerable, it's just you just in a weakened state in a moment, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like I
Yeah.
cry, like, and I ain't afraid of it. Like you know what I'm saying? Now I might try to hide it. Like if I'm watching a movie and I'm around people and a tear comes, I'm like, but but overall, nah. If I'm in a weak state, that's the thing. I surround my people with I surround myself with positive people, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a positive person. So, and I also surround myself around like-minded people.
Mhm.
So, if I look at you as being like-minded and I can't express myself around you, then that lets me know I can't be around you, or I got to control alt delete you out my life, and that's how it is.
I
Yeah,
love that.
out of here. So that's my thing. So for me, if I can't be vulnerable around you, that means you exhibit negativity and you got
Mhm.
to bounce. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. I should be able to be me around anybody that's in my circle.
Ooh, that's a hard one because when you say that, I think about it. I'm like, can I be me? And I'm like, no,
Well,
no,
why not? So
it's
so if
not.
you're saying you can't, is it so it's something about you? You got I feel like you once you connect with your inner self, you I think those things, those reasons why you feel like you can't, I think it'll be null and void, right? I think maybe it's something in you that prevents you from wanting to be yourself.
Taking notes from my therapist. When you cry, you wouldn't feel bad, what
When you
or what you are doing that for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so all right, so I think this is a good question right here. Should mental health be a factor in child custody cases or in determining criminal responsibility? Now, I should have broke that down to two different questions. Matter of fact, yeah, let's do that. We'll focus on the first part first. Should mental health be a factor in child custody cases?
I don't think so, because then people won't get the help that they need, and then people won't be vulnerable. Because as long as they're getting the help that they need, like, you should be good. Like it shouldn't matter like what you're on or whatever, as long as like it's controlled, you know, like if you're like having an episode, you know, like the child's not safe, then yeah, like that should be a factor. But like if someone has mental health, like who doesn't have mental health issues? Like a kid wouldn't have a home to go to.
Well, I'm glad you said that because quite naturally, I was about to say, I was going to say, I think that there should be some mental health factors in determining who gets custody. But then again, I'm glad you said that. Matter of fact, I love that you said that. You said who doesn't have mental health, because I think that everybody has mental health issues to some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have our faults. We all got our flaws. We all struggle, right? It's just like I said, it's different levels to everything in life, and some are more drastic than others. So I'm glad you said that, because now that I'm thinking about it, like should it be a factor in determining custody? I mean,
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
mean,
I
like,
think overall it should be, like I said, the welfare of the kid. So as long as the kid is going to be provided for, maybe it shouldn't. It depends. Because if you're batshit crazy, you shouldn't even be a candidate to be in a parental role anyway. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, like if you look at me, if you were to look at the medications I'm on, like you would be like, oh, but a lot of it is just side effects from medications that I have because of my lupus, or, so it's like, does that mean I'm a bad mom? Not at all. Like I'm a great mom, and I do a lot of great things for my child. I'm very present, like all the things. So I
Right.
think would I get on medication if I knew that it was a factor? Then yeah, I wouldn't. I would hide it. Yeah, exactly what my husband said. Some people just hide it better than others. And if someone told me I can't have my kid, I would hide it. Yeah, I would hide it too. And then you
Yeah.
just suffer at home. And then what would that lead to? Self-medicating. That's when people turn to these alternative medications, such as
Right.
like whether you start alcoholism or any other drugs, like, so it leads to like a lot more horrible things than if we just
Right.
accept
And then
that
that
everyone's
and
a
then that
little.
leads to right, and that leads to broken homes, and I'm against broken homes because I came from a broken home, so I feel like you should do your damnedest to keep that home together. But at the same time, I'm not saying stay in a relationship if it ain't gonna be healthy for you, right? If you have no feelings, or you feel like you in purgatory being in that relationship, I'm not saying stay, but I'm saying if it's a way to rectify that relationship, I think that it's in your best interest of not just yourself, with the kids as well. So that's my standpoint on that.
Yeah.
So okay, what unique challenges do members of the LGBTQ plus community face in assessing mental health services, and how can we address the barriers?
Oh, that's a good one. I think like for the LGBTQ plus community, it's hard, like when you do go to mental health professionals, is it like, okay, wait, do they believe like this is a mental illness? Do they believe, like there's some super like conservative people who still think stuff like that. And then it's like, am I safe? Am I truly safe with this person? Or are they just going to try and medicate me or what, And so it's hard to see, like, especially when people hold such strong feelings about people's
Right.
sexuality, like, yeah, that affects a lot of things.
Right. So I think so to add to that, like, what unique challenges do they face, right, in trying to get services? I think the feeling of being or feeling scrutinized, the feeling of being, judged all the time, I
Mhm.
think so. I think that has a lot to do with it too. Like they might, because it's like they not just battling their sexuality. They dealing with being judged on a regular basis, or being bullied, and I think a lot of times they don't want to reach out for help because of being judged constantly, and then just I would never know what it's like, but I think that people of the LGBTQ community, I think they face trauma. They go through a lot of trauma, right? Because like I said, the stigma and everything like that. And no matter where you go, like at jobs, they don't treat you fair, or they might alienate you, or you know what I'm saying. And I think it's hard, So now you try to be happy, you try to be happy in your sexuality, but it's like no matter where you go, you face with this adversity, this negative energy, this negative force, right? And it's hard. It takes a toll on you, and I hear it all the time. Like if you look at the statistics, I don't have them in front of me, but I've seen it like in a previous podcast. Somebody mentioned it, like the suicide rate within the community, and it's a lot. It happens a lot. So now when we talk about mental health, because they want to be happy, they want to be free, they want to be who they are, they want to love who they want to love without being judged. And the more they're getting judged, especially with the whole social media thing we touched on earlier, that just drives them to have these ill will thoughts, and then they just killing themselves.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's so sad. And I hope like anyone watching this, if you're struggling, like my handle is right here. Like I'm here. I'm not a professional, of course. 988 is like your professional line, but if you just need a friend, a buddy, I got you. You're not alone.
I love how positive you are. I do. Like before we went on live, you was just bubbly and full of energy, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, let's go."
Oh yeah, I was
And,
excited. I got all ready in my Fiesta gear. Me and my mom put this up just for today.
yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. And I was actually surprised that you hit me up. I think yesterday and then today, and you was like you was excited. So I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be good." You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because some people they just wait for me to contact them, but it means something to me when my guests reach out to me. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good show.
Yes, when someone like values you and what you do, and I have even checked out some of your past podcasts and stuff and listened to some of them throughout the day, and I'm like, he's so cool. Yes, I'm so excited.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, to what extent are anxiety disorders influenced by genetic factors versus environmental factors?
Oh, I think it's like, I don't know. I'm not a pro at this, but like looking I could
Hmm.
tell you my family, like, because I have a big pool to look at from, and like genetically, like on my dad's side, we do have a lot of anxiety and stuff, and we suffer from that. So like, how much of that is nature versus nurture? Well, we were all, raised in different households, so that's not nurture. So that has to be
Right.
the nature part that we're all suffering from similar things. So that's what I think. I think it could be 50-50 because as
Oh,
we talked about, there's environmental factors that can cause it, such as like your job or what
mhm.
situations you're in. But also, like, I think I'm more prone to be like anxious. Maybe someone who is going through what I'm going through would handle it differently.
Right.
Maybe some would handle it better, maybe some would handle it worse, but I think I am more prone, like anxiety
Huh?
wise.
Thank you to what? I don't know. She just said thank you. I'm not sure to what, but yeah, I'm not sure. But maybe she'll say it. Uh, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. So, do you think that anxiety and mental health issues are hereditary? Do you believe that?
No, I think it could be a mix, both. Like it could be like me, I think I'm more prone to it because of like maybe my genetics. Like I feel like I'm more of an anxious person in general. So
Right.
I wonder like what made me like this.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. And so I struggle with the whole genetics thing and the whole hereditary thing. Like I'm not really a believer that things are necessarily hereditary, right? I think most of the world believes it because a lot of people I talk to, they believe that a lot of stuff is hereditary, but I think it's trained behaviors, because this is the thing, we're creatures of habit and we're sponges, especially as adolescents and babies. I think growing up and being exposed and being around the same thing repeatedly, I think that we just pick up on certain traits. Like it's things that I do that I tell people, hey, I got it from my mom. Like I can't help it. Like I got ADHD. I'm not ADHD. I have OCD, and I swear I think my mom did. So it's crazy. Like it's things that she do. I swear, I do it to the T, and I can't. Well, it don't bother me no more. But I used to hate that I did it. Then I used to blame my mom. Oh, it's because my mom did it, and I seen that growing up. I seen that growing up. But then, like, it's certain things. Like when I clean up, if I have a picture frame facing a certain way, and it's a picture frame. Like, what reason would somebody have to touch it? Somebody come in and just move it, and I'm like, what the fuck did they do that for? And I can't wait for them to leave so I can fix it back. As
Wow.
fucked up as that sounds, sometimes in my mind, like not right away, but like maybe an hour go by, I'm like, oh my god, when they gonna leave so I can fix it? Now it's not dirty, but in my mind, things that's out of order, mentally for me, I'm like, it's dirty,
Wow.
and I try to work on that, but it's hard. Now I've gotten better a little bit because I remember at work I got caught a couple of times trying to reorganize something, and people caught on like, wait. Why'd you do that? What do you mean? Oh, I see something on it. I was just straightening. So if I move like this, it ain't gonna bother you, and I'll be like this. So it took a long time. So now at work, it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now outside of work, like where I live, that's where it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Only, right? Nowhere else. But it used to be like no matter where I'm at, my little bubble, my little space needs to be organized. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even my shirts and stuff, when I hang them up, I have them by sizes. It ain't got to be by color or nothing like that. I'm not that serious with it. But like, all the larges, I can't even fit no larges, but I'm just saying if I had larges, it'd be like larges, it'd be this. And I got my long sleeves together and my short sleeve. For me, it's got to be that way.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Otherwise, I'd be like, I can't sleep. I'll be tossed and turned. I'm like, that's it. It can be 3 a.m. I get up just to fix it. So
Dang.
yeah.
You're
So
serious
it's
about it.
That's people worse than me though. I mean, so me, I look at myself being minor, like on a minor scale. Like some
My
people are just,
husband has his closet organized by color.
oh yeah, see,
Oh,
that's what she said.
that's
Thanks
what you
for
were
yeah.
saying. We were curious. Thanks, Allison.
It sounds
Yeah,
like my
look,
closet.
his
Now,
is organized by
who
color.
does who does his closet like that? You or him?
He does. I wish he
Oh, he
did
might have
mine.
OCD. He might
Oh
have
yeah, for sure.
OCD.
No, for sure. Like, I come
Ain't
over
nothing
here
wrong
and
with that
tell
though.
you how much OCD he has. He sure does.
All right, so what is the difference between normal anxiety and anxiety disorder, and where do we draw the line?
Oh, I think there's like a clear line to be drawn, right? Like, isn't there? I notice everything that's crooked or out of order. Oh my God.
Yeah, me too. Oh my god, yes. You know what? I got too excited just now. Hold on. Hold on.
And
I
I'm a
forgot I was
messy
live.
person.
You say you a messy person?
I'm not like messy. He says I'm not dirty. I'm disorganized. Like I'll leave my makeup on my side of the sink or on both sides of the sink, all over the restroom, really. Like my makeup and stuff. Like
And for like hours throughout the day without putting it back?
yeah, like indefinitely. Like it's always
Oh,
there. You thought
oh
like
no,
I put it back.
that would drive me crazy.
He said no,
I'll put it all in the
I
bag.
never put it back.
Wow. But you was about to say something?
Oh,
Oh yeah, well, when I said what's the difference between normal anxiety and anxiety
oh,
disorder?
I think there's like a definition that they use whenever because I got diagnosed with anxiety disorder and it's like
Mm.
multiple periods of anxious like anxiety. So like they measured it by like days or something, how long I had felt anxious and then how many times that had happened. And that's when it like became a disorder. But I can tell you, like I know I have anxiety like baseline like all the time. Like it's just
Right.
always so I think that's the difference. If you're always like on edge and if your friends are like, girl, chill out, like you probably have the whole disorder. I don't know. That's what I would say.
I got you.
But I'm
Um I was saying that's what I was saying earlier. I was going to go back to, but so why do you think that the school system automatically suggests that a child has ADD, ADHD, or learning disabilities, as opposed to suggesting the counseling or therapy?
I have no clue. I guess that's like a good question. I know there's like people who there's like school psychologists that they do the testing. That would be cool if we got like a school psychologist on here to ask them about like their processes, right?
If I could find one, I'll definitely have them on there because I love anything that's going to stretch my mind and work my mind out. Anything I can learn, right? Because I have a thirst for knowledge, right? So any bit of knowledge that I can retain,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
So
this is kind
so
of out
yeah,
of my wheelhouse, but I bet I could find you someone who could answer this question a lot better than I could.
and I welcome all people on here. So that'll be great.
I'm a big
Okay,
fan
so
of saying like
you,
when something's like too much for me to answer, like I don't know much about that. I'm like I don't know enough about this topic to have an opinion.
I got you. And so what about this? Do you think that traumas are the leading cause for substance use and addiction?
Traumas?
Right.
Maybe not so much traumas, but what the trauma causes. So, like the mental health disorder caused by the trauma. So, like depression or anxiety or PTSD. So, like, what are you masking, right? So, they're masking something. And I know, like, everyone has like different reactions to trauma. So like maybe someone's PTSD or depression looks different. And I think that's why a lot of people turn to substances to like self-medicate too.
Right. It's because it's hard for them to cope, right?
Right.
They haven't quite found that coping mechanism.
Right.
Okay. All right, so let's go to segment number 2, right? Um, how has it been as a woman of color navigating public life?
Public life, like just in general, like living life.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I will say it's been different since I got onto social media like heavily. So on TikTok I'm almost at 15,000 followers. So like once I started going live and seeing
Well, you got how many people?
almost 15,000.
Damn, how long it took? That's amazing. I mean, I just made a TikTok, so I know I got some time. But dang, it took you a long time, or
Yeah, but I do like content, like I do lives and stuff, and I have an agency that I work with in LA, and we do different things. But I will say, like, being a woman of color has been very different, like being on TikTok. So people are a lot more racist on TikTok because
mm,
I don't know, they just here in San Antonio, I'm in my cute little bubble of like San Antonio, Texas, where everyone's like, oh, Texas, yeehaw. But like San Antonio is very like Mexican. Like we are mostly, Hispanic. So I'm not standing out anywhere. But when I like travel, that's where I feel it more. When I feel like when I know I'm the only Hispanic in the room, I'm like, and like people have said mean things, or they might have bumper stickers that are mean things about Mexicans, and I'm just like, and I feel like I have to be like, I'm legal, like don't worry, or like I don't know,
right.
people are weird and they're
That's
mean.
true. That's true. That is true. I mean, I deal with a lot of shit in my town as well, and it's crazy. I love when they say, about the whole interracial thing. Oh, 20 years ago, this wouldn't be a thing, and sometimes I ignore it, but sometimes I can't help myself. I'm like, 20 years ago, it would be a thing. What are you talking about? Like
Yeah,
20
like
years ago,
what
the 2000s. Like, what are you talking about?
like what
Like, I
makes
remember,
you think that's a cool thing to say?
yeah, it's like a couple old ladies down the street from me. They always say, 20 years ago or back in my day. I'm like, oh, it's 2025. Stop. Like, I literally put Halloween decorations up or Christmas decorations, and then you see so many cops come there, like they haven't seen me before. I'm like, do you have an idea? I'm like, for what? It's like, oh, we had a anonymous call. I'm like, you know who I am, bro. Like, why we kind of keep going through this? And it's insane. And normally when I tell people these stories, they be like, shut up. That ain't true. I'm like, no, it's true. I remember I'm I was changing a car tire in the yard, and the cop came and said we had an anonymous call that a mysterious black man was looking in the mailbox and was trying to steal a tire. I'm like, bro, this is
What?
crazy. And I remember they was like, "Can you show ID?" I said, "I couldn't, but I'm not going to do it." And they said, "Well, I need you to come with me." I was like, "Nah." And then my kid's mom, she, you know, women are emotional. She started this crying thing and it's like, oh, he lived here. This is harassment. Asked for the badge and all this stuff. And then they're like, you free to go. I'm like,
Mm.
I live here, so what do you mean I'm free to go? Like technically, you free to go.
Yeah, you go.
Go. But
I know
it's crazy.
that's interesting. This is something interesting to talk about. Both of us being married to someone who's white, because like it's my husband's white, and
Oh,
there's
I was just about to ask you that. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was Hispanic because I was looking at
the last name.
the no, yeah, the last name, yeah, and then the emoji. So I was like, oh, okay, they're both
So
Hispanic. But that's okay,
when
interesting.
we got married, he took my last name.
What the? I've never heard of that happening ever in life.
Mm-hmm.
Ever a man taking a wife's name? So you
Mm-hmm.
wear the pants then?
No, actually.
Sorry, Eric. Sorry, Eric.
No, wait till you hear. So he's such an amazing man. So like there's many reasons that it just made sense for him to take my last name, but like one of the main ones that I love to talk about is that my son Justin, when I had him, I was a teen mom. I had my son when I was 15. Well, pregnant at 15, had him when I was 16. And so he had my last name. And so when we got married, it was like if I took his last name, then Justin wouldn't have, like, he wouldn't match our family last name. So instead, my husband took my last name. That way we would all have matching last names.
I mean, I commend you, brother, but me? Hey, listen, it's about my legacy because you know y'all have kids together. It's like it's not really his legacy, right? I mean, yeah, without the last name, it's like it's kind of like
He was
you
like
know.
disattached from his last name anyways. Like he doesn't talk to his dad. Like he doesn't want any connection to the last name anyways. Like it was a French last name. He did 23andMe and found out that he's not even French. Like he's Irish. And so he was like, I have no connection to this last name. Like, just get rid of it. It was like hard to pronounce, and it all worked out.
Hmm. Okay. Um. So, being a woman of color, do you feel as though you have to battle both gender and racial dynamics?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like constantly.
Like, give me an example.
Especially like objectification. As a Hispanic woman, people tend to objectify like Hispanic women a lot. But like, yeah, you have to fight a lot of different things. There, especially in the Hispanic dynamic, there's things that Hispanic women are thought to do. Like we stay home and we cook and we clean and we do all the things, and like, and
Yeah.
there's the machismo, but it's like, no, like I'm a business owner now, and like my husband's the one who's cooked the last few nights, and he's so awesome. Like he's my rock too, but like it's not the typical thing, and we have to fight that idea.
Right. I got you. I mean, so what challenges have you faced while being a woman of color? Like, other
I think
besides what you just said.
one of the big challenges that I faced is medically. I think medically, women of color are believed a lot less. And you see that in, oh, was it Venus or Serena Williams who had a baby and she almost died in labor? And she's a, a star, and, you know, like everyone knows who she is. And like, I just can't believe that. But I can, because there's times that I've been in the ER like begging for medication, like, oh my gosh, something horrible is happening. And no one would believe me. And then I told my husband, use your white card, like, help me out here. Straight up. And he went and he got the nurse and give my wife more medication. Like something's happening. I was like white as a ghost. Like, and what it was, I was rupturing a cyst, an ovarian cyst, and
Mm.
they didn't find out till later after the CT scan or whatever. But they didn't believe me until my husband said something. I was begging them for
Right.
hours Like, but so I think that's the biggest thing. And then the disease that I have, it's lupus. It's an autoimmune disease. So my immune system is just confused and it attacks itself. So it attacks my own body. This disease mostly happens to women of color, so Hispanic and Black women. So why is this still a disease that is so understudied? Because it happens to women of color. Because who's studying us? We're at the bottom of the totem pole if you think about it, because like the top of the totem pole is the white man. So if you think men and then women, well, the white woman is respected or heard more than us.
What? So okay, so it's
Medically.
crazy. I did. Oh, medically. Okay. I thought you.
Yeah. I'm saying medically, like,
Oh,
like,
okay.
so the diseases that happen to men, or like if you even think about Viagra, like how many studies have been done to Viagra? Something that like it's more like pleasure than lupus, like it's killing women of color. Like, and if you look at the different studies done, it's like, yeah, things that happen to women of color are like some of the most understudied diseases there are.
And it's crazy. It's crazy when you break it down. You look at things like that. It's crazy, and it's like when we talk about these things, people look at it like you always bringing color into it. I'm like, I'm not saying this person's racist, that person's racist. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is I'm presenting you with the facts. Like, why is it like understudy? Like, it just
Yeah,
doesn't make
that's
sense.
black and white, right? Like not well, literally, I guess literally, but like statistically, we can look at it.
Right. Okay, so this is like a personal question for you, I guess. Have you ever had feelings of doubt, inadequacy, and or stress due to systemic racism and stereotypes?
Totally.
Mm.
I think in my last school that I was working at, there was a lot of undertones of um just maybe not understanding of like cultural norms and stuff. And I did feel like urgency to explain, over explain. And as the art teacher, that was kind of hard. And so there's a lot of feelings, and that did make me feel inadequate, and it brought a lot of anxiety and stuff. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I think it's pretty common, unfortunately, and hopefully that's something that changes the more we talk about like how people make us feel, and then like just having these conversations, and hopefully people who see this, they're like, wait, have I ever made someone feel that way? And just
Mm-hmm.
start thinking about it more and being more empathetic and like careful with how we treat people.
Right. Now, what were some of your coping mechanisms for when you felt inadequate and stuff?
um That's a loaded question. I feel like I kept trying to prove myself. And so I became teacher of the year. I got national awards. I did this and that and the other, and it still was never enough. So I don't feel like my way of coping was healthy. That's why I was like, ugh, because it wasn't a good way of coping. Like I tried to prove myself because I was like, finally, I'll be enough. And it was never enough.
Right. So
That,
I get that. Because when I talk about my traumas in life, and sometimes my family members will be like, "Oh, what traumas? Oh, you always talk about trauma and mental health." I'm like, "Because it's real, right?" That's something I battle with every day. To this day, I still have this desire to prove people wrong. I
mhm.
still have this desire to like say, "Oh, I'm going to do everything you say I'm not going to do," or I'm going to be, what I'm saying. Even though I've hit several milestones in my life, I've made a tremendous turnaround from who I used to be to who I am now. But none of my good deeds goes noticed, right? It goes unnoticed, which to me it kills me mentally, right? And I try to hide that. I still try to hide it from people because I never want people to know when things are bothering me. But it shows, right? It's one of those things we can't hide, we can't mask. Um, and it just bothers me, right? It does. Like it's like, for instance, my mother could tell me like, "Oh, you don't do nothing for me," but I'm out of all five of our kids, I do the most.
Mm.
And mentally, that bogs me down. It drags me. You know what I'm saying? It
So
does a lot of damage. And even when I try to tell her or whoever, brothers or whatever, they act like don't understand it. And then I sit there and I self-reflect and say, anybody with the or the head on their shoulders, how can they not see the detriment in that and the harm that they're causing? I don't understand it. So I like to distance myself from a lot of people, and I have like two therapists I see, and they both say that's not the way to go. Right, distancing yourself is never going to solve the problem. Right, it's going to remain unsolved if I don't face it head on and have these kind of uncomfortable conversations. And my thing is, I'm okay with having uncomfortable conversations, but what I don't want to do is argue. When I see myself getting all worked up, I need to separate myself from that situation. Right, and
Mhm.
my one therapist told me she pissed me off. In the first session I had with her, she called me a narcissist and she said I was a control freak. I'm like, how the fuck did you get that out of? I don't like conflict and arguments. I'd rather walk away than to face it. She said because it's called fleeing, right? So this is like, so a narcissist and a control freak, that's what they do. They flee from the problems because it's not things is not happening the way you want it to happen. So you said now I'm going to remove myself because now if by removing myself, now everything is under my control, it's under my thumb, it's essentially happening the way I wanted it to happen, it's on my terms. So that's the way she was putting it. So I understood how she was trying to break it down, but I'm like, I'm not no control freak, because for me, when I look at control freaks, I look at people that's do what I tell you to do. I'm not that person, right? And then she was like, "Oh, it's different levels." I'm like, "It's different levels of anything in life." So they call me a control freak and a narcissist. I just don't agree.
Yeah.
Now I got my one brother that said I agree with that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So, but yeah. So like you were saying, it's certain things that just yeah, it do make you feel that way. Like when people just I don't I don't get it.
I would
All right,
say
here's another good
instead of
question for
saying
you.
that you're a narcissist or a control freak, I wouldn't say that. I would say that from what you've told me, that your love language from family members, from whoever, I would say is words of affirmation. You just want to know,
Yeah,
you want to be appreciated, and that doesn't make you a bad person. But
right, absolutely.
I would
Oh,
just
that's
think
another
of
thing.
like words of affirmation and say like, this is what I need. This is how I like to be loved.
Yeah, because everybody want to be loved. That's the one thing everybody on God's green earth, everybody want love. They want to feel love. They want to feel valuable. They want to feel wanted. You know what I'm saying? Now to touch on what you said, they also said, dang, what you just said? You said, oh, the affirmation. Another thing my therapist picked up, and I knew this about myself already. She said, you know, what I'm picking up is in relationships, you look for people to fill voids in your life, and she was right. Like I've been through that about myself, right? So I was like, oh, that's true. She's like, that's an illness. I'm like, yeah. So listen, I got a male therapist and a female. The female, I don't like her. I don't, because she also be bashing men. So I'm like, how you a therapist? You want to bash men? And I'm a man. So, but the guy, like when I walk away from talking to her, I get frustrated. When I walk away from talking to the guy, I feel like I accomplished something. I feel like I gained something. But he also more money. So
Oh,
that's what makes it hard for me. I see him once in a while, but the other one is once a week.
well, don't be
But
afraid
she
to
don't.
switch therapists too, though.
Yeah, I thought about that, but it's like the ones I've called. It's like the money they ask is crazy. So I'm on the cheat. I got two cheat ones. You know, I complain about the one
Well,
that's a
I
hundred a
go
session because
I'll send you
what'd you
the
say?
info to mine, but I go to one through an app on the phone and it's called Talkspace and it's great. Like I love my therapist and it's like out of pocket
Talk.
is $85, I think.
I just wrote it down. Talks. You said talk spot or talk space? What'd you say?
Talkspace.
Oh, space. Okay, I just
Not
wrote that down.
sponsored,
So
but should be. Talkspace,
there you
shout
go.
out, sponsor us, Talkspace. We're talking mental health all day.
All day, yeah. I need some sponsorships. So here's a good question for you. Do you feel that women have equal rights, or do you think that we are still working to get to that space? Like, do you feel like you women truly have equal rights?
No, hell no. Hell no. Like, did y'all hear what just happened down here in Texas? No.
Nah, what happened? What
No, like
happened?
they outlawed abortion and stuff. Like even medically, like when women, like I have PCOS, like I have polycystic ovarian syndrome and stuff. Like my stepdaughter's pregnant. If something were to happen where the pregnancy wasn't viable, that's scary here right now. Like if we can't get medical treatment, but men can, like, and then equal rights, same thing, like medically, if we're not getting treated the same way as other people, then no, like if we're still dying at faster rates because we're not being believed medically, then like nah, things aren't equal.
Now you saying a woman of color, or you saying women in general? Because when I say equal rights, I mean like equal rights as far as man to woman ratio. Do you think it's equal rights?
Oh no, I was well, even then, because I mean, women of color, we're still women, so like we wouldn't get equal rights if not all women have it, you know?
Right. I got what you're saying. Because yeah, a lot of people feel like they women have equal rights. A lot of people say women still hasn't got equal rights. Like, and I feel like you guys do, because I feel like the reason why I say that is because women got so much. So all right, it's funny you said that, because me as a man, it's like, for instance, let's say a woman can go to the police and say, "Oh, this happened." They automatically say, "Oh yeah, that must have happened." They might like the guy up, but if the shoe was on the other foot, the guy complained about a woman, they be like, "Oh nah, here it's a civil thing. Here's the information. Go to the courthouse, and it's a civil matter."
Mm.
So it's like it's women ever since they came with the women's rights movement and all this stuff. Women just get more respect than men. I feel like it's with the law, whatever, no matter what it is. Like women, let's say have a disagreement. Women put their hands on the man, hitting them, might even use a weapon, and people they're watching like it's a-okay. Man, let's say he don't hit her, but he balls his fist up. Now
Mm.
everybody criticizing him. Everybody under the guys under the sun is calling the police and label him a monster. And he didn't even physically do nothing at that point. They used to see him clench his fist. It's like nah. So I think women get more respect than men, and then we society and the government makes it. I think make it easier on women than it is for men. Let's look at like the custody thing. The custody thing, it's hard for a man to get custody. My oldest, I'm a sole custody father of him, right? And everybody said it's not going to happen, but it happened. So I had to quiet it. I had to quiet the noise up. Shh, shh. I did that. Uh, but it makes it so hard for a man. But women, it's so easy. A woman could be a drug addict, and the judges sit there and say, "I don't believe in separating the child from the mother." The father might make six figures, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable." Like what?
Yeah.
You look at the scales of justice, right? You look at on the scales. The mom sinks that bitch down here, and the man's like, you know what I mean? And the judge still be like, "I just don't believe it." So in that aspect, like I said, I feel like women got more than equal rights. I feel like, I just
I
be seeing
think
too much shit. It's crazy.
yeah. I think both are correct in their own, like, because they're both like different realms of it, right? So like I
Right.
think you're 100% correct. Like down here in Texas, it's so hard for men to get full custody. And I know many men who deserve full custody of their kids and don't have it, and they should. And
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of really messed up stuff going on, you know? And I think both can be correct. Both aspects are right. Like I completely agree with you. I'm glad you're speaking up about it too, because there's a lot of injustices that dads go through, and men like with false reporting or even domestic violence against men, and
Mm. Mm.
they're not believed or heard about that. And then when this stuff happens, then they try and seek mental health and stuff, and then there's more of a stigma, and then people wonder why there's higher suicide rates in men because they can't talk about it, but all this stuff is happening
Mhm.
to them. But are they being believed, or can they see their kids on the weekend? No, but the mom's allowed to just keep the kids away from the dad, and
Yeah.
then just
Yeah.
file the dad just has to file a police report. But how many years is that not seeing the kid? You know, there's a lot of messed up things with that, and I'm glad you brought that up.
A lot. The whole child support, it's a lot of things. I don't believe in child support either, because you get locked up over, let's say a dad get locked up over non-payment of child support. This is the dumbest thing. If you think about it, let's think about it, right, from a rational standpoint, right? If you're locked up, now you can't work. Now you definitely can't pay the child support. So now you put him behind the eight ball. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's not going to rehabilitate nobody. by locking them up. And then the thing is, who goes to jail? What kind of people go to jail?
The bad people.
Bad people or criminals, right?
Yeah.
Criminal. So don't pay non-payment of child support. That don't make you a criminal. What crime are you committing? Right?
Do
And some
they
people say it's a
arrest
moral crime.
people up there?
Huh?
They arrest people for not paying child support?
And they put you in jail.
Oh.
And then guess who benefit this state, because it's like, what is it? It's like
Oh.
$100. It's like $100 a day to house people in jails. So now the government making money by housing people in jail, and
Huh.
it's like, lock up the criminals, not people for non-payment of child support. I don't believe locking people up for traffic stuff. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
You drove on a revoke. Okay, was it an accident? Did
Nonviolent
anybody get
crime.
hurt? Yeah, like it's the dumbest thing. Now I do have this one statistic that as I was doing research earlier, that I wanted to bring up. Right, it says, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, women of color make up 39% of the nation's female population and 20% of the entire United States population. Right, it says. And a quick fact: it's the United States. Oh no, that was in 2018 when this was posted. So, and women of color will be the majority of women in the United States by 2060, and that was from the census from 2020.
Wow.
So now I brought that up, and I wrote that down for a reason, because you know how, like, especially with white people, they think they high and mighty, they up the top, and this whole shit that I'm not gonna get into the politics thing, but how Trump's racist ass talk about some make America great again. To me, every time I hear that bullshit, I think about racism and slavery, right? Because what I want to fucking know is, when was America ever great, right? Because when it was slaves, I mean, I'm a little confused. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to get to the politics thing, because this is the thing, and a lot of white people say that blacks are lazy, all this crazy shit they be saying. Okay, well, I often tell people, well, whites, they made a living, they survived off the backs of blacks, right? They rode around on horses, didn't do nothing, chewed tobacco, didn't do nothing, living a lavish life, sitting up in the plantations, which is like mansions today, right? While my peoples was in the field slaving and getting their ass whooped. It's bullshit, and they call us lazy. And guess what? When they said slavery was abolished, you know how many riots it was? White people said, "What you mean I got to work?" So if you think if you look at history, who's more accustomed to working, whites or blacks? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's crazy. I hate stereotypes. I hate all that shit. Just like another thing of pet peeve when we in America, right? And things like at work, for instance, when it comes to hiring people, I hired people that wasn't, Mexican or whatever. My boss said several times, it's different jobs, because I had 3 different manager jobs, and all 3 of them jobs, you couldn't have found a Mexican. I'm like, what the fuck? And why people keep saying? Because they work hard and for little pay. That's the that's the stigma and stuff, right? But that's not true. So Mexicans, they work hard, and it took me a long time, because I have Mexican friends, and it was like, in Mexico that you have to work hard and you get paid less. That's why a lot of come to the United States, right? For the money. And so I'm like, okay, so they're accustomed to that already, right? So it's different. But what you're doing is, when whites say it or blacks say it, because a lot of black people say the same thing about Mexicans. I'm like, what you're doing is you're degrading yourself. So
Mm.
you're saying, oh, Mexicans work hard, but you're not looking at yourself and saying, oh, I work hard too. Because I tell you what, me, I tell people, you're not gonna outwork me, no matter where I go. You ain't gonna outwork me. And if you want to sit there and say I'm not gonna outwork you, then we're gonna be the top motherfucking people in this business.
Yeah.
We're gonna outwork each. We gonna outwork each other. That's it. The business is gonna benefit from having us on board, because ain't nobody gonna outwork me, and that's how I feel, because I gotta stand out. That's just me. Because also that's how you get more money, right? When you
Mhm.
stand out, right, and you don't sit there and try to stay with the motion of the crowd of mediocrity, then you're gonna get that money. So for me, I work everybody. I remember my first manager job. Now I ain't start off as a manager. I started off as a line cook, and I opened that store. When they built it, boom, I was in there. work. My mindset was I'm gonna be the best person in here, and I'm gonna be the fastest person to learn to every station, and that's exactly what happened. And then everybody was talking about me. I come in and go, oh yeah, you the one, or never not schedule him. Mr. Black need to be here, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing something right. And then from there, every day I made it a priority to outshine the next man, right? And I used to tell people all the time, I'll make you good, but I won't make you great, right? And then my bosses at the time used to be like, "Oh no, you got to make them great." I'm like, "Nah, if I sit there, I'll make them good. I won't make nobody great because if I make them great and I look at myself as being great, now I got competition, and now we both gonna be sharing that same limelight, and I don't need that. I'm trying to get hit. I'm trying to progress. I'm trying to advance because it's hard to get to the top.
Yeah.
Like I used to tell myself I was never going to get there, but when I got there, I tasted success. And I was like, "Yeah, now ain't no turning back." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's that. Um, So speaking about the whole racial thing, right? Let me ask you this, because like I said, I like to educate on this thing too. What is a racist?
Racist, someone who
Mm.
treats someone poorly based on race.
Okay, I knew you was gonna give me that answer. So let me ask you this: do you think people of color could be labeled a racist?
Oh, I know that like there's such an argument for this, right? Like I don't know. Like I'm still like I still don't have an opinion yet. I would love to hear
Okay,
more.
so let me say this. So by definition, a racist is characterized by or showing prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism against a person or people on a basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, uh, and that's of the minority, right? So if people are color, if we are already the minority, by definition, we can't be a racist. Because to be a racist, you have to be the superior that's discriminating people that's the minority, right? So I like to tell a lot of people it's never been a such thing as a racist black person. Like we can be prejudiced, sure,
Prejudice.
right?
I
Because
don't
that's
know.
when you.
Okay, what do you think about what Kanye's doing right now? Like with
No,
his
he's a whack job. He needs Jesus. He needs
but
Jesus. He
but
put
like what would
he
that be characterized as? Because he's black.
confused, and somebody that's suffering from anxiety and mental health issues. He put a Ku Klux Klan outfit on.
I
Come
know.
on.
So wouldn't that be like
That's. I think he needs a straight jacket. I think he needs psych meds. I think he needs a lot of help. He needs Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it goes back. So years ago, before he got locked up and all this stuff, Bill Cosby, he was another one. Some people call him a sellout, but I think he suffering from delusion or something because years ago, Bill Cosby, he said he not black, and I was like, the fuck, what the hell are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. Like, you can't be black and say I'm not black. Like, what are you running from? Right? Like, you can't conform and make yourself look like an ass at the same time. That just doesn't. The math don't math right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
no.
Um, so let me ask you this last question before we conclude for the day. So let's say you have a biracial kid, right? It's 50-50. Let's say let's say 50% Mexican, 50% white. What is that child? What would you class? Would you call them a mix or what would you call them?
Both. Like, I mean, I'm kind of biracial because Cuban and Mexican are not the same. Like in the
Right,
Hispanic community, like we're very different. Um,
right.
and so I characterize myself like as Mexican or Cuban, or like just how I did to you, like I'm Cuban and Mexican. So just
Oh, so
however
you don't
like my
you don't just say mix?
no, because it's like mixed with what? So I say what I
Yeah,
mix with, because if I say mix, like I feel like that's so ambiguous.
right. So, all right. So, one of the reasons why I asked that, because one thing I never understood, right, and I think I said this on a podcast like 2 days ago. Say you have a 50% white, 50% black. Well, in America society, they automatically say, "Oh, that kid's black," and I never understood that. Like they don't even consider that the whiteness in the kid. It's automatically, even if they look white, their parents exhibit white features, and they say, "Oh, that kid's black." It's mind boggling to me. So I always wanted to know why, and I know I asked you that question too because a lot of parents tell me now I don't teach my kids to say they mix because they get bullied when the mixed kids get bullied. Or say, oh, I'm biracial, they get bullied for claiming that. You just got to pick a color and run with it. Now, some people like look at it like, well, if it's 50% white, 50% black, it's whatever the father is. Or some people say if one of the parents is black, they black. And I just I never understood that, and it's just mind boggling to me. So I asked you, are people that have biracial kids or they're biracial, I asked them like, hey, what do you identify as? You know what I'm saying? Because
Interesting.
like I remember like Mariah Carey, she's also mixed. I remember her earlier days she was claiming to be white, and then at some point when she started saying, "Oh, I'm a black woman," her white parent cried. I believe it was her mother. Yeah, her mother's white, right? It cried because it's like, oh, what do you mean you're black? You know what I'm saying? So from a parent, it's weird. Like, how would you feel? Like, you know what I'm saying? At one
Yeah.
point I asked my kids' mom, I said, they say, "Oh, I'm black. How would you feel?" She's like, "Oh, I would tell them that you're not, you're mixed." So you know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm like, yeah, my kids are black. So it's just weird because you still got your other parent that's not, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's one of
interesting.
those weird things.
Huh.
But yeah, man, like it's definitely been a pleasure having you on. I definitely look forward to having other episodes with you. You're a talker. It seems like just like I am. So everything just flowed well. It was great. But we're going on 2 hours, so that's going to conclude today's episode. For everybody that's been watching, whether live or is going to catch this on the replay, I appreciate you. Just continue to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, and then comment whenever I have a show. That's always appreciated as well. And you like go by Mary,
Oh,
or
yes,
is it Mari?
Madi. Yeah, I go Madi,
Oh,
not
Mari. Oh,
Maria, on TikTok, on Instagram, and thank you so much for having me on today. This was so much fun.
oh, it was definitely fun. You're so bubbly. It's amazing. But but yeah, like I said, we'll definitely stay in touch. And guys, let's see. I forgot what my next. Oh, Monday I have another episode, so be on the lookout for that. And all right. So like I said, we out of here. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, guys.